What if Elvis Presley never left us? What if, instead of dazzling crowds on stage, he returned in 2020 to live a completely ordinary life, as an Uber driver in Las Vegas? Imagine opening your app and finding the king himself pulling up in a Cadillac. From ordering his famous peanut butter and banana sandwich at a late-night diner, to passing by the Westgate Hotel where his legendary shows once lit up the Strip, to even facing a room full of Elvis impersonators, only this time, the real. One was in the crowd. This is not the Elvis you know. It's the Elvis you've never imagined. And trust me, you'll want to watch until the very end. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, which celebrity would you like to see living an ordinary life? Imagine opening your Uber app on a random night, and the driver who shows up is none other than Elvis Presley. Yes, the king of rock, alive in the year 2020, driving through the neon-lit streets of Las Vegas. Sounds impossible? Well, tonight, we're diving into this wild what if to see how such an extraordinary story could unfold. After decades away, Elvis suddenly reappears. But instead of returning to a glittering stage filled with screaming fans, he surprises everyone with a simple choice. He becomes an Uber driver. "I want to meet regular folks, feel life up close," he says, with that famous crooked smile. The Cadillac, polished and shining, now carries a modern Uber sticker. Neon reflections bounce off his slicked-back hair as if the city itself had been waiting for it. Still, the 21st century wasn't easy to handle. The GPS barked orders. "In 200 feet, turn right." Elvis grumbled under his breath. "Back in my day, you just asked directions at a gas station." Other drivers honked, some laughed, and a few snapped photos as he passed. But to Elvis, it was all part of the adventure. The king was back, not under spotlights, but behind the wheel, rediscovering life one ride at a time. Halfway through his shift, Elvis's stomach growled. He pulled into a small diner tucked between flashing neon signs. The waitress, chewing gum, raised an eyebrow when she saw him. "What can I get you, honey?" With a grin, Elvis answered, "Peanut butter and banana sandwich, toasted, and don't go easy on the butter." It was his legendary favorite, a guilty pleasure that puzzled most but comforted him every time. As he took the first bite, two truckers in the corner whispered, "Ain't that Elvis Presley?" Elvis looked up, peanut butter sticking to the roof of his mouth, and simply winked. The diner erupted in laughter. He told the cook stories of long tours and late nights, joking that this very sandwich had fueled half his career. For a moment, the Uber driver became the king again. Only this time his audience was two truckers, a couple of waitresses, and a jukebox flashing silently in the corner. Back on the road, Elvis slowed as he passed the Westgate Hotel, the very place where he had performed hundreds of unforgettable shows. The giant marquee now glowed with new names, but in his mind, he could still see his own in bold lights. "Back then," he murmured, "my name shined bigger than all of Vegas." A nostalgic smile crossed his face as he remembered the roar of the crowds, the sequined jumpsuits, the endless curtain calls. Then he chuckled. "Funny thing, no one ever asked me for 5 stars back then." A group of tourists spotted him idling at the curb, pointing their phones and giggling. To them, he was just another impersonator lost in memory. To Elvis, it was bittersweet. He wasn't chasing stadiums anymore. His stage was smaller now, but each ride had its own story. One evening, curiosity pulled him into a lounge hosting a show of Elvis impersonators. The room was packed with men in sequined jumpsuits, each striking poses, each trying to be him. Elvis slipped quietly into the back, watching with amusement as one performer nailed his famous leg shake. The crowd erupted with cheers. Then someone shouted, "Hey you, get up here and show us how it's done." With a shrug, Elvis walked on stage. The audience laughed, assuming he was just another imitator. But when he spoke, his voice carried that unmistakable warmth. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. The room fell silent. For a heartbeat, no one knew whether it was the perfect impression or the real thing. Elvis just smiled, gave a small bow, and walked out, leaving the crowd buzzing in disbelief. Between rides, Elvis liked to revisit old haunts. He stopped at a small restaurant he had once loved, settling into a corner booth where the waitresses still called him darling. He laughed as he told them how, once upon a time, he ordered a dozen peanut butter and banana sandwiches in the middle of the night. Guess some things never change, he joked, wiping crumbs from his lip. Passengers kept filling his Cadillac. A bride-to-be sang off-key all the way to her hotel. A night shift nurse finally smiled after sharing her long day. Even a pair of hecklers climbed in, ready to mock, but left shaking their heads, unsure if they had just met the real king. Each ride gave Elvis something he had long missed. Not fame, but human connection. Not the flashing lights, but the simple moments. As dawn painted the strip in gold, Elvis parked his car, leaned back in the seat, and whispered to himself, "Maybe this is what I was missing all along. Not the lights, not the money, just people." He tapped the app offline, looked into the rearview mirror, and laughed softly. "Thank you," he said to no one in particular. "Thank you very much. And now, dear listener, let me ask you, which other celebrity would you like to see living an ordinary life? Write it in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe for more stories like this one. Because reality may be ordinary, but in imagination, anything is possible.